You know that feeling, right? You step out of a nice, warm shower into a drafty room, or maybe you hear a branch snap right behind you in the dark, and suddenly, boom, your skin erupts in these tiny little bumps. We've all experienced goosebumps thousands of times, but we kind of take this daily biological mystery totally for granted. So in this explainer, we're going to decode the secret language of your skin. We're unpacking the fascinating science and the deeply hidden evolutionary history behind those little bumps.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's super easy to look at our bodies as perfectly optimized machines, built exclusively for the 21st century. But really, we're basically walking biological museums packed with relics of the past. Those little bumps popping up on your arms, they aren't just some random glitch or a minor reaction to a chilly breeze. No, they are literally an ancient survival response stubbornly wired into our modern circuitry. It's an active, direct link right back to our distant and, well, much hairier ancestors.
Just look at the visual here. When the hair stands straight up and the skin dimples, looking, let's be honest, exactly like a plucked goose, it's a physical reminder of that wild heritage. Long before we had climate-controlled houses, heavy winter coats, or the ability to articulate our complex emotions, our ancestors had to rely entirely on their biology to survive harsh climates and terrifying predators. And even though our environment has drastically changed and we've lost those thick coats of fur, well, your skin's memory just hasn't faded, not one bit. So, we all know the standard triggers, right? A freezing gust of winter wind, or maybe that sudden, adrenaline-spiking jump scare in a horror movie. But then, there's the outlier, being moved to tears by a sweeping cinematic score or a really poignant speech. Why on earth does standing in a freezing blizzard trigger the exact same biological response as listening to a breathtaking symphony? Logically, crying at a beautiful song and freezing in the snow have absolutely nothing in common, yet your body reacts with the exact same mechanism. Wild, isn't it?
So the crucial point is understanding the actual mechanics of this shared response. And it all comes down to a fancy word, piloerection. That's the autonomic reflex controlled by your sympathetic nervous system, basically your body's fight or flight mode. You can't consciously force it to happen, and you definitely can't consciously stop it. When your brain perceives a sudden, extreme change in your environment, whether that's a temperature drop, a sudden threat, or a massive surge of emotion, it floods your body with adrenaline and fires up this entire system instantly.
If we zoom in under the microscope, this is actually a beautifully simple, fluid mechanical process. The sympathetic nervous system rapid-fire signals down to these tiny, microscopic muscles attached to the base of your hair follicles. They're called the arrector pili. Think of them almost like microscopic elevator cables. They contract violently, pulling the attached hair completely upright, and they pull the skin up right along with it. Hundreds of thousands of these tiny muscles flexing all at once in a fraction of a second. That's what creates that rippling effect across your arms and neck.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why those vastly different triggers are actually connected. Think about it. When cold air hits a furry animal, this reflex traps a layer of air against the skin, right? It creates this natural, fluffy insulation. When they're threatened, the fur rises to create a larger, much more intimidating silhouette. Just think of a cat instantly puffing up when a dog walks into the room. In us humans, intense emotional stimuli, like that sweeping piece of music we talked about, essentially cause our nervous system to misfire. It interprets that massive emotional surge as a high-stakes survival situation.
So in furry animals, this is an absolutely vital, life-saving mechanism. But in humans, well, it's mostly vestigial. We lost our thick coats of body fur over millions of years of evolution as we adapted to new environments. But the crazy part? We never lost the software. The neural wiring in those tiny arrector pili muscles are still right there, faithfully doing their job every single time we get cold or scared. It's just that without the thick fur to go with it, the response doesn't actually warm us up or make us look bigger anymore. It's just this fascinating, harmless leftover from our past.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this cross-species connection actually captivated Charles Darwin over a century ago. While he was extensively studying emotional expression, Darwin spent a massive amount of time just observing how animals reacted to stress and excitement. And he realized something profound. The way a chimpanzee's hair stands on end when it's terrified is biologically identical to the chills a human gets when they watch a scary play or step out into a freezing wind. He recognized this physical reaction as a shared evolutionary inheritance, one that ties human emotion directly back to the animal kingdom.
Ultimately, goosebumps are proof that your body carries history written right into its reflexes. Every single time you hear a song that moves you to tears, or you step outside on a crisp morning and feel that chill run down your arms, you are experiencing a literal biological hand-me-down. You are feeling the exact same survival reflex that kept your distant ancestors alive in a wild, unpredictable world. It's triggering those tiny muscles under your skin and reminding you of exactly where you came from.
So that leaves us with a pretty big question. If a reaction as simple and everyday as goosebumps is actually leftover ancient survival technology, what other ancient secrets is your body hiding in plain sight? From the way we sleep, to the foods we constantly crave, to how our eyes react to the dark, our biology is just packed with hidden evolutionary stories waiting to be uncovered. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep observing. And hey, the next time you get a chill, remember, that's just your skin's history saying hello.